Okay, guys. Hello, and welcome back to today's class. So welcome to our live stream for today. If you can hear me, let me know. If you can see me, please let me know. So I'm just trying to set up. So I'm just trying to set it up to see before we start. So once you can hear me, Joy McCroy, good evening, you're welcome. So once you can hear me, please let me know. And once you can see me, let me know. So before we start, I'm just trying to arrange and adjust myself. Lucio Chisom. Okay, good evening. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Let me know. Just confirm before we start. Okay. You see. Okay, just please confirm for me so that we can just go ahead and start our class for today. Okay. Okay, Paulina, yes, I can see you. Good evening. All right, guys, so let's start. So can you hear me, Paulina? Can you hear me? So this is our pattern paper. I need to readjust my camera. I can see you and I can hear you. Grace, you're welcome. So that's good confirmation. So now the next thing is for me to adjust. I'm just looking for how to adjust this in a very good way. So we'll all see. Let's see. Will it be okay like this? Or we'll go like this? I think let's do it this way. I think it's okay. Okay. So the first thing, so guys, welcome to today's live stream class. So like you can see from the thumbnail, we're learning how to cut an off shoulder today that has a pencil sleeve, so you can see the picture. So that's what we're going to do today. So if you are just joining us, you are welcome. Please let me know where you're watching me from. I want to know where you are watching me from. So this is our pattern paper. We're going to be doing pattern drafting, then we'll transfer to our fabric. So since this is a beginner's class, I'm using a calico. So this is like the best fabric for beginners once you are learning. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to draw a line. So this line is going to be like my start line, and then we're starting this tutorial from scratch. You understand? So this is a beginner's tutorial. Okay, Grace, you're watching from Onitsha. You're welcome. Okay, so as I go along, so the measurement that I'm going to be making use of for this tutorial, let me just write it down. Our bust measurement that we're going to use bust. The bust is going to be 34, and then our under bust is going to be 28. Waist, which is like the half cut, we're going to use 30. So these are the measurements. So as we go along, we're going to insert the measurements. Okay, Paulina, you're welcome. You're watching from South Africa. Okay, so this is our startup line. If you are drafting an off shoulder, you need a start line. So for the off shoulder, if you joined me from the previous class, you find out that you can drop your off shoulder by either 4 inches, 5 inches, or 6 inches. So for today's class, let's use the last class we did. We actually used 6 inches. So for today's class, let's use 5 inches. So the next measurement that I'm going to add now, that's the next line. So this line is like my shoulder line, which is my start up line. Okay. Dicta, you're watching from Lagos, you're welcome. So the next line is our bust line. You know the last time, so this is our bust line. So from your shoulder to this point is your bust line, and then from your shoulder to this point is your under bust. Then from your shoulder, this is my dress. Then from your shoulder to your half cut, that's your waist, okay? All right. Bank of America, you're welcome. You're watching from Cameroon, okay? So the next thing, so we're taking these points now. You understand? So like I said, I don't want to start calling before YouTube will come and I hope you guys understand. So I'm taking my bust points. This point is my bust point, so 10 inches, that's from my shoulder. So you can see my 5 inches, I took it out. So that is 10 inches. So I'm going to mark the 10 inches like this. So I'm just using dotted lines. I'm going to rule it straight. And then the next line we're going to be adding to this pattern is the under bust line. That's from shoulder to this point, okay? Which is 13 inches. So this is my 13 inches. Like that. And then the next line that we're going to be adding to this pattern is our half cut. That's from shoulder to where you want your blouse to reach. So for this is the half body scale. So I'm going to be making use of 19 inches. Okay, so that's my 19 inches. I'll just add 1 inch to it to give me allowance. So these lines that as I explained now, I'm going to use my ruler and connect all of them. So like I said, just let me know where you're watching me from. As you are just joining us, you're welcome, guys. If you have any questions, just drop your question on the comment section. This is a live class, so live stream are meant to be interactive. Okay, so I've marked it like that. So you can see we have all of our lines. This is our half cut, also known as waist. This is our under bust, and then this is our bust point. So let me fold the excess that I have. Let's just fold it inside that way. Okay, I just want to have the whole table, but the thing is not entering, so let's just manage with what we have. Okay, so the next thing now, we're going to start imputing our measurements. The first thing we're going to take is our bust span. So this is our bust span. For those of you that don't know, from this point to this point, which we call nipple to nipple, that's our bust span. Okay, so for this bust span, you can see my own now. You can see that it is 8 from here to here is 8 inches. So that 8, you divide that 8 into 2. You understand? So this is how we take out our dart. You divide it into 2. You don't just put it, and then we are going to measure. We're going to draw a line with that for 4 inches. We're going to draw it across all of these lines, like I explained earlier to you, like this. So this is so we draw the lines like that, and then we'll connect it with our straight ruler like this. Okay, so please, if you cannot see what I'm doing, please let me know, because I will not know. It's you that will tell me. Okay, so I've marked it now, so you can see what we have. The next thing now, we're going to take out our dart. So this dart I'm taking out for this pattern, I'm taking out 2 inches dart. So that 2 inches, I'll take 1 inch to this side and then 1 inch to this side. You can take out 2.5 inches dart for a plus size, 1.5 inches to the right, 1 inch to the left. So that's still okay. So let's just do that, because most people majority are average busted. So with that, we'll take 1.5 inch to this point like this. So this is 1.5 inches. And then that 1.5 inches, we're going to connect it to the bust point like this. So I'm using dotted lines, so we're not rushing it. And then on this other side, we'll take the other 1 inch. So with that, we have added our 2.5 inches that, and then I'll mark that one also. Everything we're connecting to the bust point. And then on this right hand side, I'm going to take 1 inch to my left like this, and then take 1/2 inch on this other side. I'll take, so the top that I'm taking out 1.5 inch of that. So this side is half of an inch like this. So this line, I'll connect this down one now to this, and then connect the up one to this, all of them on the same line. So I'm going to use my ruler like this. It's not really entirely straight though. It's not really entirely straight, so, but I'm still going to blend it. So you can see as I'm connecting them. I hope you can see me. Please let me know where you are watching me from. Please let me know the connection. I hope it does not disconnect. So after that, I'm going to take my pattern curve like this. I'm going to blend. So I'm trying to blend that part so you can see it, me blending it. Okay, so after that, the next thing, I'm going to extend my dart now to the down part. So in extending my dart to the down part, I'm not going to take, I took 1.5 inches from this side. So I'm going to bring it just 1 inch now to the down part. I'm not going to take out the whole 2.5. I'll just take out just 2 inches. So I'll connect that to this point like this, and then I would connect this. So I hope you can see what I'm doing. So we have succeeded in taking out our dart. Okay, so after this, the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to take out our full body measurement. This you can actually do in 2 ways. You can cut it and place it on top, or you can just take out the full body measurement. I think the last one that I did, we cut and place on top, but for this, let's just take out the full body measurement directly. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to, so this is the dart that we're cutting off now. So please note. So from this point now, we're going to take out our shoulder measurement. So the shoulder that I'm using for this is 14 inches. When you divide 14 into 2, I'm going to have 7. So that's my 7 inches. I took out, this is 1.5 inches that I took out already. So since it is an off shoulder, I'm not going to, normally this 1.5 inches, I'm supposed to add it back. You understand? I'm supposed to add it back. But since it is an off shoulder, you don't use your exact shoulder measurement. If not, it will be falling off. So you actually don't do that. So this 1.5 inches that is here, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add half of an inch to it. So at the end of the day, what I'm using for my shoulder now is 13 instead of 14. So I want you to note that. If not, the shoulder will be falling off, okay? So I've marked it here. And then remember, we used 5 inches from the beginning. So the next thing now, I'm going to use half of my armhole measurement. My armhole is 16, which is 8 inches. So you can see what I did. I took that one out. This is 16 inches. I'll mark it, which is 8. So from this point now, I'm going to use my straight ruler like this to connect those 2 lines together. I'll connect it like this, and then I'm going to connect this. So I'm just drawing this, which I'm still going to work on later. So the next thing now, we're going to take out our bust measurement. Our bust is 34. So when you divide 34 into 4, we're going to have, if you don't know how to do your calculation, you can just divide it. So we're going to have 8.5. So that 8.5, I'm going to take it like this. Is it 8.5? Please, let me check it very well. So you can see it's almost 9. So I'm going to take it like this, and then I'll place it here. Just place it on top, and then I'm going to mark it here like this, and then I'll add my stitching allowance. So for stitching allowance, I'll add 2 inches. You can see 2 inches here. So because why I'm adding 2 inches, this top part, a little bit of inches came out. So that's why I added 2 inches. You can add as much as 3 inches. Okay, so what I have here now, I'm going to measure what I have, and then I'll still extend it to my bust line. So it's still the same thing. So where I'm going to have a difference is my under bust. So my under bust is 28. So 28 divided by 4, we're going to have 7. So this is the 7 inches, right? We'll mark the 7 inches. Remember, we took out 1.5 from this side and then 1 inch from this side, which is, that gives me 2.5. So that 2.5, I need to bring that 2.5 back into my pattern, or else it will get truncated, okay? So you can see I've added that 2.5 inches back. And then the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to add my allowance. So for this, since we added 2 inches to the bust part, we can add 2 inches also to this part, okay? So we'll place it like that, and then I'm going to mark it out. So the next thing we're going to continue, we're going to come to our half cut, which is this part. Okay, so for that part, like I said, we're using 30 inches. So when you divide 30 inches into 4, we're going to have 7.5. This is 7.5. Remember, this down part, we just took out 2 inches. So that 2 inches that we took out, please, if you have questions, you can drop your questions, okay? Summer, you're watching from US, you're welcome. So you can see my 2 inches. So I've added that 2 inches. Bring it back into your pattern, okay? So I've added that back. And then for this waist part, I'm not going to use 2 inches. I'll use 2.5 inches allowance. So that one is optional though, please note. And then I'm going to take my ruler like this. I'll connect those lines together so you can see at the end of the day we are done. So I'm going to cut this out. Excuse me. We'll cut out now. So if you have any questions, please let me know. So you can see. You can see the bust, you can see the curve on it. So the next thing now, I'm going to cut this other dart out. So when cutting, you have to be careful so you don't spoil your pattern, okay? So like I normally say for beginners, pattern drafting is not a big deal. You understand? It's not something that is difficult. So at the end of the day, we have our patterns. You can see how simple. Let me erase it so you can see. You see the bust. This is like the surest bustier pattern for a beginner. You understand? Once you use it, it enters properly. So the next thing we're going to do now, I'm going to blend. So I'm trying to check. Okay, that's okay. So if it was a tube, you know the way we did it that last time, we just blend this part, but since it's going to have a sleeve, so I need that sleeve, so I'm going to leave it here. So the next thing I'm going to do now, the first thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut out my pattern. So today's class, I'm going to show you people, we're going to line the front part at least. Let's line the front. So I'm going to take this like this and placing my pattern on my fabric like this. Okay guys, so after placing, okay, Nelly, you're welcome. You can see me. Nelly, where are you watching from? Let me know, please. Okay, so I'll place my pattern like this, and then I'm going to cut. I hope you can see what I'm doing. So I need to adjust and adjust. So I've cut out that one. The next thing I'm going to cut out now is this other part. So you can see what I'm doing. You can see. So just navigate the shape of your dress. So if you notice, you can see a little bit of allowance. I'm trying to get my other scissors. This one is giving me a headache. It's paining my hands, but I can't find it. I guess I must have left it somewhere else. Okay, so we're done with this. This is the front piece. So the next thing I'm going to show you, we're going to use this our pattern to cut out the back. Okay, so in cutting out the back, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to place this on top of each other. This is just a simple way because I don't want to redraft the back, so that is why I'm doing this. I'm going to place this here like this. So just see what I'm doing for my back piece. And then I'm going to leave my zip allowance. So this is my zip allowance here and then here. So what I'm going to do on this part, I'm trying to mark my dart line. You understand? So this is my dart. I'm going to mark it so I don't miss it at the end of the day. So I'm going to cut. So I hope you can see what I'm doing. If you cannot see, let me say, okay. Chisholm. Okay, you say your shoulder is 17 divided by 2, which is, no, 17 divided by 2. It's not up to 8 inches. It's not up to 8. So 16 is 6. Okay, it's more. It's 16 that is 8. It's more than 8. That's 8.5 inches. That's 17. It's 8.5. Okay. Okay. 8. I am marking it. Shoulder. Make it. Let me see. Let me read this properly. Make life 11 or 12, right? No, don't make your shoulder 11 or 12. If your shoulder is 17, you divide 17 into 2. You understand? When you divide 17 into 2, you are going to have 8.5. So that's what you are going to mark. If it's an off shoulder, you are going to use 7.5. You take out 1 inch or use 7 inches. Take out 1.5. If you want it to be firm, take out the 1.5 and then you are going to have 7 inches. So that's what you are going to use to mark your shoulder if you are making an off shoulder. So here is where I'm going to add my dart for my back piece. So I'm just going to mark this now like this. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to add the neckline. So before I add the neckline, let's join the front piece first, and then I'll add the neckline. So I need to readjust my camera so you can see as I'm going to be stitching it. So I hope you can see my machine now. Okay, so we're going to start stitching. So I'm taking 2 pieces because I want to line it. I told you that's why I have 4 pieces here, and then I'm going to start stitching. So I'm going to open this like this. So this is my center piece. You can see our center piece. Okay, Vivian Bright. Okay, you just joined. You're welcome. Okay, we're cutting off shoulder with pencil sleeve, with off shoulder pencil sleeve. That's an off shoulder top that has an off shoulder pencil sleeve. So we're finished cutting. After everything, you can always go back and watch and see. So now we're stitching now. So I'm stitching from the top. You can see I'm stitching from the top, so you can see where I'm trying to navigate my curve. So normally you should pad your bustier. You understand? So like I showed you in the previous class, this is a wording. You understand? So this wording, you should use it to pad. Let me show you. So this is the center piece. You should cut your wording around this bust point side. You cut it like this, and then you just cut it. So this helps, and then you pad this other side also. So in an upcoming class, I will teach you guys how to actually do pad. So like I said, just drop your questions for me. So the next thing now, I'm going to stitch the other one. So I hope you can see. I'm trying. Okay, so let's see. So we're going to stitch this one now. So in stitching, we're going to stitch from the top. So just make sure that all of the points they match, and place it together like this straight. And then back stitch. Don't, if you are using an industrial machine, you need to reduce the speed by just tapping it gently like that. Okay. So I've finished stitching, so I'm going to show you guys so you can see how perfect this bustier looks like. Even though you see we did not pad anything, but you see it came out fine. So I'll place it on the table so you can see. So the next thing I'm going to do now, you see all of the dots, we're just trying to manage. Like I said, if I look at the condition, that's the space, I'm not going to do any live stream, so you guys just need to bear with me. Let's manage and just keep doing it. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to join the lining. So you cut your lining and your fabric, cut both of them the same, exactly the same. Okay, so I'll join the lining piece now like this. So I'll join the other piece also. Okay, so after joining, this is now we're going to add the neckline now. So I'm going to keep the lining on the side. So normally I'm supposed to iron it. So I'm going to cut, we're going to cut the neckline now. So you can see how it looks like. You see it. So this neckline is actually a straight neckline. So for the back piece, I'm going to add my dart. So I'm just going to add a normal regular waist dart to my back bodice. Okay. So you can actually add any dart of your choice. You can decide to open it to the top. Okay, so guys, just keep your questions coming. What I'm doing, if you don't understand, please let me know. Like I said, it is a live class, so just please let me know so I can explain as I go along. Okay. So I've added the back. So for the back now, I've not opened this. I'm just going to join it before I cut it open. So in an upcoming class, I'm going to teach you guys how to avoid zipper bulge. So how to shape your pattern. That's how to shape it to take out excess so you don't have a zip bulge. Okay. All right, so now we have our back piece. So you can see our back piece, it looks good, right? So the next thing now, we're going to add our neckline. So you take them like this. You can see how I'm taking them. You place them. This is okay. I need to readjust the camera so we can see. Okay, I think it is better. So you take them like this, you leave your zip allowance to the side and then place it. So if you notice, like seriously, if you notice, it was the neckline is actually just a normal straight neckline. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place them like this. Okay, And then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to measure the neckline. So I'm going to come to this point like this. That is for the front piece. I'm going to use 3 inches. Okay, I'll mark my 3 inches like this. I've marked the 3 inches wideness, and then the next thing we're going to mark the depth. Remember, we used 5 inches, so you place your tape like this, and then depends on how wide you want your neckline to be. So I can decide to, like, let me use 6.5 inches for my neckline. So that's, you see the way I placed it. It's not like I'll just come here like this and mark 6 inches. No, you put that 5 inches, that initial 5 inches, you put it into consideration while doing this. Okay, so I'm going to blend that into that point, and then on my armhole side like this, I'm going to take out about 1 inch from my armhole. That's the depth. So I'm just going to do this. You can see what I'm doing. Okay, you can see. So for the back neckline, if I want my back neckline to be deeper, I'm going to come to this point and then mark how deep I want it to be. I can decide to mark it here. In order for me to check how deep it is, I will still place my tape like this, and then I'm going to see, you can see I have about 9 inches for the back neckline. So the back neckline automatically is going to be deep. So I'll make sure that you mark the same inch here, and then you blend that for the back neckline. So I'm going to, let's cut out this back neckline first like this. So after cutting, the next thing, we're going to place the front now and cut, and then we'll do our blending. So I'll place it like this, just the way I explained earlier, and then I'm going to cut it like this and then like this. Okay, so you can see I'm cutting both the back, that shoulder part. I'm taking out that little piece. So this part, I don't want it sharp, so I'm going to like blend it. So when doing this, you just have to be more careful. Okay, so at the end of the day, so you can see what I have. You can see this is how it's going to look like. You see it. If you want it deeper, you can bring it deeper, but it's looking firm and okay. All right. Okay, Sarah, you're welcome. You're watching from Ghana. That's beautiful. Welcome. So guys, let me know. So this is the back neckline. If you want the back neckline, if you want it to be deeper than this, all you are going to do, just deepen it however you want it. Okay, so the next thing, I'm going to show you now how to join the front together. So this is our lining for our front piece. You can see I did not cut my lining. I always like doing that. Okay, actually did not cut my lining. So I'm going to place this like this. I'm going to place it like this. So I'm actually going to stitch. Okay, so I need to put on my pressing iron before I finish stitching it. Okay, so now I'm going to just make sure that your darts, the dart points that they correspond. So I'm going to stitch from the down. But if it is a half bodice block that you are doing, so this, I'm just doing this in case you are making a full blouse, but normally what I'm doing for this class is actually a half bodice block, so you really don't need to stitch the down part. So since it is a beginner's class, so I'm just trying to cover as much that I can cover. So that is why I am actually doing this. Okay, so I'm going to cut that out, and then I'm going to stitch the neckline. I'm going to stitch the whole of this point like this from the shoulder. The only part that is remaining is the armhole. Okay, Oh, my thread, the thing just removed. Esther, you're welcome. Okay, so let's continue. So I'm going to stitch now. So just make sure that your dots, that they correspond. Okay, so you can see how I'm navigating it. So I've stitched out that part, but I'm not going to stitch the armhole, you understand? But if it is a tube, you stitch the armhole. But since it is not a tube top, I'm not going to stitch the armhole. So the next thing, I'm going to stitch the side. So there's something I'm going to do once I get to the down part. So I'll trim out, if it is a blouse, so trim out every excess that you have. And then on this part, you are just going to fold it down like this a little bit, and then you stitch it down like that. So fold it down and then you stitch. Okay, so see what I was trying to say? You are just going to fold it down like this, fold it down, and then you stitch. So with that, it balances. It will not be coming out. That's your blouse. The lining will not be coming out. So that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, all right, thank you, Sarah. All right, so after that, here's what we're going to have. So the same thing that I did for the front, do the same thing to the back. You know, the last class we actually did not line our calico. We did not line it, so that's why I'm just trying to cover this part. I can smell my iron. The thing is, I need to take it out. So I'm trying to, so after that, the next thing you are going to do, you are going to trim your neckline like this. So you can see, just navigate your curve. So that's the extra part from we're still going to trim the armhole properly, so let's just leave that. So it's from the armhole, that's where we're going to turn. You understand? Okay, Summer Caster, thank you so much. Thanks for the feedback. I appreciate it. So you are going to, so you just turn it, push it out nicely. Okay? So you can see how it is looking beautiful, right? So the next thing, we're going to iron this now. So I just pray that this pressing iron does not disgrace itself. Let's see. Okay, I think it's okay. We're just going to manage. Okay, guys, let's just manage. I'm not really pressing it the normal tailor press. So the neckline part, make sure, put more emphasis along those parts. So make sure you open it up and then press it out nicely. And then this bust part, normally you're supposed to use a ham. You place it. If you don't have ham, you can use fabric. Just get some stuff fabric, guys, like something like this. Just stuff in fabric and then iron. Okay, so that's the back piece. I don't want to ruin it. And then you turn it so you can see the way it is looking. So we're just managing, guys. Okay, all right. So let's see what we have. So at the end of the day, you can see what we have. So this part is like, I trimmed it over, so I'm going to stitch it down again. All right, thanks for the feedback. So you guys should give me feedback as you're watching. Please let me know. Okay, so you can see our front piece. This is lined You can see it. You see how beautiful it is looking. You see our dart came out really perfectly well. So the next thing now we're going to join, so like I said, I did not line the back. So you guys should just help my ministry. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to join them together like this. So watch what I'm going to do. So all this part we're still going to trim it today. So the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to join the back and the front. So in joining the back and the front, we're going to take our measurements. So we'll use our measurements. So let's see how we're going to do that right now. So you know our bust, we use 34 for our bust, which is 17. So you divide that into 2, so you can see that's where my 17 landed. And then our under bust, so when you want to do this, this is what you do. You take your tape like this again. Our under bust, you know our bust was 10, our under bust is 13. Okay, so this will help as a guide. So our under bust, we used 28, which is 14. So I'll mark it like that, and then mark it here also. So I'll connect those two lines together, and then connect these ones here also together. You know, because I did not line the back, so I have extra at the side. So the next thing, the waist, which is the down part, I actually use 30, which is 15. Divide that into 2, and then I'm going to connect it like this, and then connect this one also like this. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to join it. I'm going to join the side button, not side button. I'm going to join it on the side. So when I finish joining it on the side, you guys are going to see what will happen on the shoulder side today. Okay, so this back piece, since I did not line it, that's why we're having it like this. I'm going to trim it. I just could not do it. I'm already getting tired. Seriously, guys, I'm not going to lie. Okay, so my thread has removed, it has finished. So I need to change it. So, like I said, if you are just joining us, you can ask your questions. You can tell me, let me know where you are watching me from. If you have any questions, you can drop your questions. Okay, so now we'll just follow that line and then give it a nice stitch. So once I'm done, I'm going to start trimming. So I'm going to trim. So this back is just making the thing not to be fine, since we did not add line into it. So the next thing I'm going to do now, we're going to trim our armhole. Okay, so this is serious business, guys. Time for you to see what we are going to do now. We need to trim our armhole properly so that that sleeve will stay perfectly well. Okay, so after stitching, this is what we will have. So in trimming, I'm going to come like this. I'm going to measure that my shoulder measurement again. You understand? You know the shoulder, I'm going to measure it. So I'm taking out 1.5 inch from my shoulder, from my original shoulder. I'm taking out 1.5 inches from it. So here is what I'm going to do. So from this point now, I'm going to take it, I'm going to mark the neckline, how wide I want my neckline to be. That's the gauge. So most times you can do that from the dart, you understand? You can do it from the dart. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm just blending it into that point, that dart point. I'm trying to blend it in. So I'm going to actually going to use one to do the two. So I blended this in order for me not to spoil it. I'm going to check, you understand? So it's good for you to check. So this will help your off shoulder to balance properly. So you can see I'm coming to about 8 inches. So you can see, you understand? Since my armhole is 16, you can see what I'm doing. If you don't do this, the truth is it will not work. So I'm trying to set it properly. So after marking it, I'm trying to, oh, scratching me. I'm going to trim like this. Okay. So you can see what we have, guys. So you can see. You see our armhole. It looks perfectly well, right? So I hope if you don't understand, please let me know. Good evening, Ahmed. You're welcome. Ahmad, rather, not Ahmed, Ahmad. So I'm trying to iron it now before we cut out the sleeve. So we're almost done. So I hope you understood that armhole. That armhole part can be very, 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 very tricky. If you don't understand, please let me know in the comment section. Okay, so you can see how much I came to like the dart part for me to be able to trim that armhole properly. It depends on how wide you want your neckline to be. If you don't want the neckline to be too wide, you can still come in more. But if you want it to be wider, you can open more. So when you are measuring your client, always measure that neckline part, how wide you want it to be, not the original neckline measurement you use. How wide you want it to be on the chest part. I normally measure that. Initially, when I started sewing, I used to make that mistake, but later I started marking it. I started measuring. So with that, it was okay for me. So this back neckline now, in case I want my back neckline to be deeper, I'll just come in very well. Okay. So now we are done for the next thing we're going to do now. I'm going to show you guys how to stitch the how to cut the off shoulder sleeve. So you can see, you see how it is looking. See our armhole, it is wide enough. If you measure it's not wide, make sure you shape it nicely. Okay. All right, thanks Carster. All right, so the next thing we're going to do our off shoulder sleeve now. It is a very simple way. Very, 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 you know, when I say very, very, I mean very, very simple. So I'm just trimming. I'm not doing anything yet. I'm just trying to trim my fabric to make it nice. Okay, so there are different ways of doing this. So I'm going to show you 2 ways of cutting an off shoulder sleeve. Okay, so this, even if you are using a pattern, it's still the same way. So the first way for you to cut an off shoulder pencil sleeve, what you are going to put, let me adjust my camera. So what you are going to put into consideration is your round sleeve measurement. That's from here to here. And this is how you actually measure that. You understand? You place your tape and then you measure it. It has to be firm, or else it will be falling out. Okay? You just put it. Okay, Mabel, you're welcome. So you place it nicely and then you measure. So for this, I'm going to be having about 11 inches, which is okay. So that's one way of measuring it. So once you have gotten that, the next thing you are going to measure, you come to your bicep area like this, and then you measure your bicep area also, and then you measure your elbow, and then you measure your wrist. So all of these measurements, you just write them out, and then I'm going to mark now. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to place those measurements. So my biceps area, which is this point, is around 9. So I'm going to come down by 10. And then my elbow measurement, so this is my elbow, and then my wrist, which is this part. So that's it. So you measure the length of your off shoulder sleeve, so you can see it. So mine is about 23 inches, which is very long, which is okay. So the first easy way, Kafiyat, you're welcome. The first easy way to do that, remember our round sleeve measurement that we measured now. So let me adjust it. Okay, Bank of America, let's see. You say your question is, we first remove 1 inch from the shoulder measurement during the drafting, yes, and then now you still remove 1.5. Yes, you remove the 1.5. That's during the drafting, you take out 1 inch. Yes, why you remove the 1.5 again is because you want your off shoulder to be firm. You understand? If you want an off shoulder that is falling, you can just decide to take out during the final measurement. You can just decide to take out half of an inch or 1 inch. But if you want your off shoulder to be very firm, you can take out 1.5 inches from it. So at the end of the day, you can see, let me show you what I'm trying to say. At the end of the day, you know, normally this is my shoulder now. You can see my shoulder is 14. You understand? So when I take out 1 inch initially, I'm still going to have 13. So when I still use 13, it's still going to fall. But if I, at the end of the day, that 13 inches, if I take out 1.5 inches, which is, this is half inch, and then this is 1. So I'm going to be left with about like 10.5. So you can see where 10.5 is on me. You understand? You can see where the 10.5 is. It makes it really firm. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain. But if I don't want, after taking out that first 1 inch, which gives me 13, I can just decide to, at the end of the day when I'm drafting, that's when I'm doing my final trimming or final measurement, I can take out half of an inch. So my off shoulder is going to be here. So there's a probability that it will be falling out. But since I don't want it to fall out, I want it very firm. That was why I took out another 1.5 inches. So I hope it is clear. If it is not clear, still let me know in the comment section. I'll still come back, okay? So for our round sleeve, let's continue. So for our round sleeve, the top part of our round sleeve, we're using 11 inches, like I said. So that 11 inches is a very simple process, guys. You divide that 11 inches into 2, which is 5.5. So you come to the top part of your sleeve like this. You mark the 5.5 here, like this, okay? And then after marking the 5.5 here, you are going to place your tape here like this on that point, and then you are going to mark your armhole. So your armhole measurement depends on what you are using for your armhole, which is initially we have been using 16. So you mark the 16 like this, which is 8. I hope you can see what I'm doing. And then you are going to mark, just blend it like this, okay? Blend it like this. And then your biceps measurement, you are going to come like this. So my bicep, for instance, let me say my bicep is 14. That's this part around like this, 14. Divide that into 2. I'm going to have 7. I'll mark the 7, and then I'll connect the 7 to that point like this, and then I'll mark it. And then this part is the elbow. You understand? So my elbow, for instance, now let me say my elbow is 12 inches. You divide that into 2. I'm going to have 6. I'll mark my 6 like this. Okay, let's see. Olayinka. All right, thank you. Your question is your bust line for no bust line for everybody is not 10. No, always measure. Mine that is 10. Some of my customers, their own is 14. Some is 13. This is bust point where your nipple is. That's bust point. So always measure. It's not for everybody. It's different. You understand? So you can see my own. It's different. Okay. So I've marked that, and then I'm going to. So I hope that question you are clear, Olayinka. So Olayinka, Deyinka. So I'm going to mark my wrist. That's this down part of my sleeve. So I'm going to come to this point like this, and then I'll mark. So for this, I'm going to use 9. You divide that 9 into 2, and then I'm going to blend it together like this. So I'm not going to cut out this sleeve because I want to show you guys the second way of doing this. So you can see our off shoulder pencil sleeve. So you see, You see, so this is the top part. So the other simple and easy way to do this one is very accurate. You are going to take your dress, that is after trimming like this. Let's see, you take your dress like this, and then you are going to take your sleeve like this. So I'm going to do this one on this side. You are going to measure the same roundness of your sleeve. That's this top part, the round part. You are going to measure it. So for our own, just the same measurement like this, and then you are going to mark it. You understand? After marking it, you have it like that. You mark the points like that. After marking the point, and then you are going to take this sleeve like this. You are going to place this. You get? So I hope you can see what I'm doing. You are going to place this like this for you to get the armhole accurately, where you are going to place it like this, and then you are going to trace out your armhole. You can see you're going to trace out your armhole like this. So I've succeeded in tracing out my armhole now. So you can see it's almost the same thing. So after tracing out your armhole, you already have the armhole. Then all the other measurements, just like I said, you include all of the other measurements, your bicep, your elbow, and your wrist. So at the end of the day, you are still going to have this. So you don't need to calculate any armhole. So you just place it, and then we're going to cut out. So I hope the sleeve is clear. So normally after cutting this, you are going to cut out another one, because they actually have different types of off shoulder sleeve. There are some that you have at the band, but if you notice, this one does not have a band. So we're going to join this now. So normally I should turn it with a lining, but I'm not doing that. So let's just stitch. So what I'm going to stitch now, I'm going to stitch this point down. Okay, so let's stitch. Let's see. Okay, I'm coming back. I will come back to the questions. Let's just do it. So after marking, I'm going to turn this out. And that's after stitching. I'll turn out and then I'll iron. Okay, I'll iron. And then I'm going to, so before you stitch, I'm still going to double, you get, I'm still going to double check my armhole properly. So I'll double check it to make sure that it enters nicely. So I'll just give it small tiny trim. So I notice, so I'm trying to check. At the end of the day, looks like my armhole is a little bit small. So just always make sure you check it nicely. So I'll still trim it a little bit. Okay, so you can see it's matching up now. So don't worry, I'll come back to your questions. So let's just couple this together. So I will adjust my camera like this. Just keep dropping the question. So the way to stitch it is a simple process. It's a simple way. So I'm going to take this top part like this, so you can see. So now I've finished turning my sleeve. I've turned it. We're not adding a band to it. So you can see I'm starting it from the top, from that top part. So I'm going to start stitching like that. So this is the front. Just make sure that all of the points that they match. You understand? Okay, so I hope you can see what I'm doing. Oh, I've stitched the wrong. Okay, let's continue. So once I get to around the armhole part, I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to start on this other side also. So it's always good to sew it like this, so with that it will enter properly. Okay, you can see I turned the other side. I just did not sew it straight. Okay, so I did a back stitch there, and then so at the end of the day you can see the center, the armhole, that's the armhole part of my sleeve and my dress, they match, they have to correspond. Okay, so that is why you stitch from up, stop, and then stitch from the other side and stop. So with that, okay, so now I'm going to open this up. Now let's see what we have. So like I said, I did not add a line into my, all right guys, you can see what we have. It looks beautiful, so you can see. Let me readjust my camera so you can see. You see what we have. So when you put it on now, oh God help me with this mine. So like I said, turn your sleeve, turn it fully. Okay, so you see what we have. Is it not looking like what I showed you on the picture earlier? And when you put it on, so when you put it on, this is how it's going to look. Your shoulder is going to, that's the roundness of your sleeve is going to really, it's going to adjust it. It's going to, you can see the neckline. You see how centered the neckline is. You understand? So you can see. So you see, you put on your off shoulder and then do the other one. Of course, I'm not going to do the second sleeve. I beg you guys, should help my ministry. So at the end of the day, this is how you actually cut and sew an off shoulder with a pencil sleeve. You can see. Okay, so let me see my questions, please. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Comfort Amudi, I love your tutorial, thank you. They are easy to understand, thank you. You're watching from Ghana. There's some questions. Okay, okay, yes. Okay, Bank of America, we have answered your questions, right? Yes. Okay, Maume, good evening. Then Olayinka Adeyinka, okay, we've answered that question also. Luca Le Yusa, sorry about the name, so please. Ahmed, you say you understand, thank you. Okay, then Comfort, you said I love your tutorial, they are easy to understand, thank you for the feedback. Ahmad, wow, this is beautiful, thank you. Okay, Bank of America, it is, I thought I saw one question. I hope I did not miss any question. So guys, you can see that we actually got the picture that I showed you on the thumbnail earlier. You can see. So as a beginner that has been following my channel, after this tutorial, this live stream that we did now, I've done it now for more than 1 hour. Don't tell me that you cannot cut an off shoulder top with an off shoulder sleeve again. So thank you so much. Watch this video. If you are just joining us, like I said, you're welcome. If you have any questions, if you have any questions, you can drop your questions on the comment section. You understand? Just drop your question. Bank of America, thank you so much for engaging. All of you that tuned in, thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. Okay. I'm trying to adjust my chair properly. It's not even a chair, it's a carton. It's very comfortable for me to sit. Okay, let me turn off my machine. To reduce the noise, right? Okay guys, Summer Caster, thank you so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for another section today, another live stream. I appreciate each and every one of you that tuned in. So like I said, my live stream are like strictly beginners tutorials. So I'm just going to be taking it like that, start it from scratch, and then we're going to be using our calico white, sew it, and then you follow it in your own spare time. and then you learn how to cut and sew simple pieces from Stylish Naija YouTube channel. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. And today we're going to call it a wrap. So like I said, if you have a question, just drop your questions on the comment section, so I'll come back and attend to them later. I'm very hungry right now. Thank you so much. I'll see you in my next live stream. Yes, I want to stop.